Hey everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant, and in this lead generation guide, you're going to learn 3 actionable and budget-friendly strategies to generating some leads, and of course, how to scale them as your budget increases. Timestamps below, along with some other helpful videos I'll be referencing, depending upon the lead generation strategy you choose. Now, as we dive in here, I'm going to assume that your general overall strategy is to collect some contact information so you can begin your sales process. Now, there are 2 main ways you can do this before we get into our 3 different strategies for actually starting to get some leads, right? The very first way is, of course, offering something called a lead magnet. Now, this can be a free guide, PDF, template, or resource, even a webinar, although I don't recommend starting off with webinars because they take way too long to create, or you're simply offering some sort of free discovery or consultation call. So all of our strategies are going to be reliant upon you offering either a lead magnet or some sort of free discovery or strategy call as a way to collect that contact information. Because after all, when it comes to lead generation, people aren't just going to give you their contact information. If you say, hey, I have something really cool that I'd like to sell you, just give me your name and email and phone number, and I'll follow up with you and try and sell you something, right? That's not going to work all that well. So we need something of value in exchange for that contact information. If what I just went over sounds completely new, then go ahead and make sure you check out the link in the cards and the description to a full-blown video that walks you through how to create a lead magnet funnel, along with some free software to help you get started with that. So the very first strategy we have for starting to attract some leads and drive some traffic to our website and lead capture pages, landing pages, and squeeze pages is, of course, going to be content marketing. Now, hold your horses. I'm not saying you're just supposed to make a bunch of videos or go to town writing 50 blog posts and then crossing your fingers that, you get some leads out of it, right? We're going to be very, very strategic here because you're on a tight budget and you probably want to see some results within the next few months as opposed to the next few years, right? Because depending upon how you approach content marketing, it can take months or it can take years. So what I highly recommend doing is choosing either to make videos like this for YouTube or going ahead and starting a blog using WordPress. Now, which one you choose is completely up to you. Obviously, I'm making a YouTube video right now, so I'm a little biased, but both of these content mediums are going to work, but it is important you choose one of these content mediums. Either go to YouTube or a blog, because you need your efforts that you put in now to actually start providing results over time, as opposed to, posting on Facebook and Instagram and your post is just pretty much dead after 24 hours, right? So we need to be investing our valuable time in something that's going to continue to produce results long term. Now, when it comes to what you should be making for your content strategy, again, I'll link up in the description to a full-blown content marketing playlist, but to 80-20 the process, you only need 3 different types of videos or posts to start with. I'll just use videos as an example. If you decide to go with blogs, you can just as easily do it with a blog post. So here are the 3. We have an how-to post, a reviews post, and a what decision guide post. So your how-to post is simply going to be a helpful piece of content that is a step-by-step tutorial that would be valuable to your ideal customer. Now, what's important here is this step-by-step tutorial doesn't necessarily have to be the same as your product or service. It just has to be valuable to whoever you're trying to sell to. Now, these next 2 are going to help your customers make decisions. So the first one here is going to be a review guide, and these are great where you can review products or services in your niche or industry and help your ideal customer make a decision. You want to position yourself as someone who can be helpful. Now, of course, you don't want to be reviewing products or services that are direct competitors to whatever your product or service is. So you want to make sure that it doesn't look like you're just creating a fake review to make your company look better. You want to review product or services that aren't directly related to whatever you're trying to sell, but still in your niche or industry. And finally, a decision guide is just weighing pros and cons of going with different decisions. So as an example, we're a digital marketing agency. So some of our pros and cons is using software versus hiring an agency, or using different advertising platforms, like comparing the advantages or disadvantages of advertising on Facebook versus Google or LinkedIn, right? And those posts aren't directly related to our Google ads or YouTube ads services in most respects, because we don't actually do anything on LinkedIn or Facebook. But when we do those types of comparison videos, it's helpful to our ideal customer. So if you want to learn more about this particular process, again, I'll link up in the description to a full-blown playlist that walks you through everything you need to know with your content marketing, including sites like Answer the Public and SEMrush to help you get some ideas of types of content you can create. So you really only need to to create one of each of these. So you're going to have 3 types of content, and then inside of those pieces of content, you're going to have one of 3 calls to action. So your first call to action could just be, hey, check out some of our other content. Your second call to action could be something along the lines of, if what we went over in this blog post or video sounded too complex, or you still have some questions, go ahead and check out a link to book a free discovery or strategy call with me, right? So there's your call to action number 2. And then call to action number 3, if you're offering some sort of webinar or PDF lead magnet guide resource report, then that could be your call to action at the end of your content as well. And when you're creating these calls to action, sometimes it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to feel like you're being salesy or you're pitching something.
Go ahead and make sure you check out the link in the cards and the description.
And don't worry if it feels really pitchy or salesy when you're making your calls to action, because it's something you're just going to have to get used to with your content. Yes, some people are going to get annoyed, right? But our job is not to make everyone who watches our videos or reads our blog posts happy. Our job is to collect leads, and people who are a good fit for your product or service will be happy that you offered them a next step, whether that's a free discovery call or a lead magnet. So that does it for your first type of lead generation strategy you can do on a budget, because you can get up and running with YouTube or a blog for less than $50, right? So again, I'll link up in the description to a full-blown playlist that walks through everything you need to know with your content marketing. Now, the second option you have is going to be a lot more groundwork, and that's going to be networking. Now, given what's going on in the world, I'm not saying go to your local meetups, but what I am saying is go to Facebook and LinkedIn and find communities where your ideal customers are. Now, we need to stop right here. Before we go any further, I'm in no way, shape, or form saying you should post promotional ads inside of those groups. Zero promotion here. It's a little counterintuitive, but do not promote yourself, your products, your services, or even your content in these groups. That is a surefire way for everyone to immediately find you annoying and kick you out. So please ignore all those comments that you read from other quote unquote business owners and marketers who just run around spamming Facebook and LinkedIn groups. It is not a good long-term strategy. So what you want to do instead is find your group of your ideal customers. So let's say you want to market to local restaurant owners, or you want to market to local dentists, whatever kind of your ideal customer makeup is. You need to be that specific, by the way. You can't just say, oh, I want to market to people who have a service locally, or people in a 10-mile radius of my office, right? You need to be very specific with who you're targeting. And then go into that group of dentists, or go into that group of restaurant owners, and then answer questions that are relevant to your product or service in those groups and in those discussions. What's very important though is if you're going to link to any content outside of Facebook or LinkedIn, it needs to be from a different website. As soon as you link to anything of your own or of yourself, it's going to come across as self-promotional. Doesn't matter how awesome you think the post is. Everyone else is going to see that as that person's promoting themselves, and you're most likely going to get kicked out by the group admin. So make sure that when you're engaging and replying to people, you're in groups that are very specific to your ideal customer, and you're actually being helpful. What you will find over time, and yes, this does take time, right? We're on a budget, so we're giving up time and saving a lot of money here, is you're going to be able to start those conversations in private messages, right? And people are going to click on your profile, and on your profile, go ahead and once, if not twice a week max, go ahead and post some promotional posts. So when they're going through your posts in your timeline, they're checking out who's this person that was just helpful in the group, they can naturally see that you offer products and services, but don't have any of those promotions inside of the groups. You can always private message people and start more conversations there. So that's how you want to use those groups for networking. And of course, you can always private message people. And once you have a conversation going, then link them over to your calendar to book a free strategy call with you, or your opt-in page to blanking there, or your lead capture page to get your free report guide, or you could just send it to them in the private message, right? So just make sure that you keep all that promotional stuff out of the groups. All right, I think that's enough on that one. You probably get it. So let's go ahead and go into number 3, which is going to cost a little bit more money than the first two. I mean, the first one's going to cost you $50 or $100, right, to get going, and then the second one's presumably free because you're just spending all your time on Facebook and LinkedIn groups. And this last one, you're going to need anywhere from, let's say, $100 to $200 a month in ad spend. And that's going to be focused ads. So the keyword being focused. There's a lot of different things you can do with advertising. There's a lot of different advertising platforms. But if you are on a budget and you're specifically trying to generate leads for a specific product or service, and you are geographically tied, which means your product or service, the geographical location matters, then focused advertising is definitely the way to go. So if you're an e-commerce store and you're selling all across the world, this is not the place to start if you're on a really tight budget. But if you're a local services-based business and you can actually still provide your services, then this is a way that you should go. So what you do is you use Google Ads. Now I know Google Ads is notorious for being expensive, but there's a reason for this. And you're going to choose 2 to 5 very targeted, exact match keywords of people who represent your perfect ideal customer. And you only bid on those keywords. Now, are you going to get a lot of clicks? No. Are you going to get a lot of conversions? No. But the few clicks you get and the few conversions that you get are going to be very hyper-targeted on your exact ideal customer. So a lot of advertising is about casting a wider net and then making it up on the average, but here you're going to be very laser targeted. And the reason I say use Google Ads is because Google Ads allows you to specifically target people who are typing in exactly what your product or service is. There isn't another advertising platform out there that allows you to be that specific and that granular. And of course, you're going to make sure that in your targeting options, you target your local neighborhood, zip code, or county, province, or state. Don't go outside province or state. If you're a country-wide service, then this is not a place to start. This really works well if you have a specific product or service and it's localized and you can really focus on those local search results to either bring people into your store if you're actually allowed to, or actually get some local clients. So that does it for the 3 different types of lead generation strategies you can use on a budget. I'll link up in the cards in the description to a full-blown Google Ads video that walks you through exactly how to apply the Google Ads strategy we just talked about. And of course, in the description, you'll check out the links to how to put together a lead magnet funnel using a free tool, as well as a playlist on exactly how to get started with your content marketing if you decided that's the way to go. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive marketing guides just like this one. And until the next, keep building the business you love.